This is Scott Becker with the Becker Business and the Becker Private Equity Podcast. Today's discussion is focus, passion, and money. So here's the issue, and this comes from a couple different comments from some leaders that we follow and watch. Michael Saylor has a great comment last week in something that he wrote where he essentially says you have to really focus on what you're going to be great at. You have to narrow down, and I'll give you his quote. Let me give you the Mike Saylor quote. He says, you have many different ideas, but you have limited time in the day, and the world's a competitive place. So if you're going to be successful, you pick the one thing that you're most passionate about. And he says this in an article with Benzinga, which is a business newsletter. And the basic concept is that I take away from this, not just the passion, but that you have to focus. You can't be doing a million different things. A second line of thought, and I love this too, comes from Scott Galloway, who always says this concept that kids are taught today, follow your passion, is nonsense. He basically says, follow your talent and, find a way to turn your talent into money or make a living, and you'll find your passion. And I think you could square what both these folks are saying. I don't think Saylor is saying ignore money at all, because Saylor is a money guy and has gotten rich in Bitcoin and other areas. But he's saying you can't be doing a billion different things. What I think that Scott Galloway says is, make a living, find your passion, double down on it, triple down on it. But you got to be able to pay the bills and make a living. And I think he is completely right on as well. If I hear one more person say, follow your passion, unless you're Wayne Gretzky and have this great talent for ice skating and hockey, you better find something that mixes your passion and being able to make a living. I think at the end of the day, so much this concept about focus, passion, and make a living is finding this Venn diagram, this overlap of where you can be great at something and where you can make a living. And hopefully tying into that, something that you enjoy. But I do find with many things in life, the better you do them and the more lucrative they are, the more fun that they become as well. And it's not everything, certainly. But I do think there's this great balance of finding your passion, finding something that people will pay for, and finding a place where you're talented. And it's really about hitting that Venn diagram of all those things, passion, money, talent, and where customers actually want what you're doing. Because if I am a great painter, not a great painter, but if I enjoy painting tremendously, or enjoy playing tennis tremendously, or playing golf tremendously, and I might love those things, no one's paying me for my golf talent, just like nobody should be paying Tiger Williams for his driving talent. They ought to pay him for his golfing talent, not his driving a car talent. But the concept being this whole mix of passion, focus, money, and finding that sweet spot where those things come together. You got customers will pay for where your passion and your focus is. I think both Michael Saylor is right. I don't love Michael Saylor's business, Bitcoin business, the leveraged Bitcoin business, not my business. But I do love the fact and admire that he's focused himself and he does that thing and does it great for whatever he's doing. And I love listening to Scott Galloway. I find him to be a trusted person, a straight shooter. I love his thinking. And maybe it's because I grew up the same generation as him, but I love so much of his thinking too. And I think it's really mixing these things around focus, passion, and money that really makes for great long-term success. I love both their thoughts. I think fascinating. Thank you for listening to the Becker Business and the Becker Private Equity Podcast. I hope that people find this interesting. I know sometimes I ramble a little bit. I would love to hear your thoughts. The text number for Scott Becker, 773-766-5322. Do you like this episode? Should I have scripted it more? Give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. Thank you for listening to the Becker Business and the Becker Private Equity Podcast. And you'll hear this on Saturday. So that's a wrap for the week. I want to thank our wonderful producer, the best in the business. I am so fortunate to work with the Chanel Bunger. Thank you so much for what you do every single day. Thank you very much.